When you really love these cars and you spend so much time watching them and enjoying them and owning them and seeing how iconic they are, it hurts to see even one of them get ruined and thrown away, especially if it's fixable. Now, this is a lot of damage, but still probably could have been fixed and the car could have been saved and not destroyed forever.
So I thought that was kind of fun. I left my video editing notes in there. That's what I do sometimes when I make these videos. Just want to throw some quick voice memos in there, talk about what I want to say in the story and stuff. So I thought I'd leave that in there this time, switch things up a little bit differently. But looking at this '03 Cobra, this is one of my favorite cars ever made. This is such a cool car. I love the zinc yellow as well. And when I look at this car, I see a lot of potential and I see something very rare and valuable. And in the future, I think this car is going to be very sought after and people are going to wish that they didn't get parted out. In history, we know that there's so many Mustangs, like Shelby GT350s, old classic Mustangs, that if somebody would have just put it in a barn and saved it, it would be worth so much today, and it would be worth saving today at any price. And I feel like these '03 Cobras are definitely that type of a car. As time goes on, we will find out whether these cars will be so collectible, but we already know they're going up in value, and we already know they're being collected, and we already know that there's fewer and fewer of them every day as people do still race, wreck, crash, destroy, and run these into the ground. Now, this one looks like the engine bay is still pretty good. It has a lot of outer cosmetic damage, and this one is definitely one that people would write off and move along from, but when you see such a nice interior still and everything, you think, man, that car is still in really good shape in other ways. It'd be nice if somebody decided to fix it. Now, I totally understand that the quarter panel damage is probably the major damage on this car that totaled it. It's really hard to get the quarter panel right. You have to really do a lot of work into cutting out spot welds and stuff. It's not like a fender that just can be replaced. I mean, this is a lot of damage, and usually quarter panel damage will salvage out these cars pretty easily. But, I've seen people who have bought Celine Mustangs, like A&A Mustangs on YouTube, one of my friends, and on Instagram. There's a blue Celine Mustang that was rear-ended really bad, and they took the time to get a quarter panel off another Mustang and cut it all up and drill out the spot welds and splice it in and paint it, and it looks perfect now. So I know it can be done, but I also realize that this is a lot of damage. Now, when something like this happens, a lot of people just want to take what they can get out of it, part it out, and move on their way. And I understand that, and I respect their decision. But it's just, when you see a car like this, if it went into the right hands, somebody might have saved it. And there might be some A-pillar damage on the passenger side here where the fender's punched in. And I know A-pillar damage is very difficult to fix, and sometimes people can say that it's unsafe if the car rolls over and the structure isn't there anymore. So I understand that might be a consideration as well. And so, I mean, this car got some pretty brutal beating with the damage it took. And I mean, some things you could just take off and change, like the fender, and start swapping some parts on it, and it actually wouldn't look half bad. But I can see why this one was totaled out, but it's just sad to see one go. And so I like to show pictures of these cars because over the years they'll disappear and they'll keep disappearing. And I like to look back and see the cars that used to exist. And I think a lot of people enjoy that. I think if there were people who had pictures of old Boss 429s or Shelbys or even all sorts of cars, Corvettes, GTOs, Camaros, Firebirds, anything neat, and they saw the picture of it, they'd say, man, that's too bad. I wish I could save that car, but at least they could get an idea of what the car looked like and have a picture of it to remember it by. So that's part of why I make these videos, just to somewhat document this. I mean, it's not a documentation with VIN number and, how many are left and stuff like that, but there are a lot of people on the pages that say, hey, how many '03 Cobras are left? And, there's a conversation there, and people say you can guess maybe 70% are left, or maybe half of them are left. And over the years we won't really know. Maybe in the future with AI it can do VIN number searches and find all the corresponding Terminator VIN numbers and give you a number, but that would have to be through cars that are registered. And I know there are several Terminators out there that are not registered and haven't been for a long time that are sitting in garages. So there's really no way to actually know, but you can kind of guess. But in this case, you can see here's one that's gone forever. Now, in the videos I make, there are a lot of people who say, oh, that could have been fixed, or I could have fixed that because I have a body shop, or whatever. We know there's shows out there like Graveyard Cars that took a totally twisted CUDA that was just bent in half and destroyed, and they found ways to pull it apart and put it on the the frame puller and yank it back pretty straight and fix things and cut out the floors and do all sorts of things. So I know it's possible. Anything's possible, but it's all about the price. I know people say, well, I could go buy a zinc yellow Terminator that's, same mileage, same shape, and it would save you a lot of money. So I get that, and I understand that. So, this is just something that I talk about a lot with my friends, and when you see a car like this that's gone for good, it's really sad to see it happen. I know a lot of people would love to have this car, and I enjoy the comments that people leave on these videos. I've had a lot of really good points made, a lot of good comments from a lot of people who always watch the channel, and occasional people who drop in who aren't subscribed and mention their thoughts and stuff. So I enjoy the comments, and I think it's fun when we all get together and talk about this. So if you have something to say, go ahead and leave it in the comments. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the video, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.